Welcome to Ringside Talk. I'm your host, Coach Chris. And ladies and gentlemen, it's with a heavy heart today that I come to you at this studio with this podcast today. Unfortunately, the boxing world is in mourning. I'm sure you all know that we have lost a great kid, a great fighter, just a great person, great human being overall, Prichard Colón. And I was in shock. Shout out to my boy Alex, who was the one that gave me the devastating news yesterday. And I was caught off guard. It felt like I was punched in the gut with that one because I really had high hopes. You know, Prichard Colón was a fighter that I spent many days praying for him and his family, for his well-being. And I figured today I wanted to honor him the correct way. And I figured, why don't we go down the lane and look at one of his best performances in boxing, which was against my good friend Vivian Harris at the Ricoh Coliseum in Toronto, Canada, back in 2015. And he had a great performance. He showed great skills, and that was the night that a lot of people set their eyes on Prichard Colón. I was very impressed with him. Of course, at the time, like I said, Vivian Harris was a friend of mine, is a friend of mine, and of course, you know, I was rooting for Vivian, you know. But at the time already, Prichard Colón was actually on his way up while Vivian Harris was actually on his way down in his career. And Prichard Colón was actually campaigning at junior middleweight, which is 154 pounds. And Vivian Harris was a former junior welterweight fighting at 140 pounds. But for this fight, because Vivian was getting a little bit older, he was already struggling making 140 pounds, he decided to move up in weight and fight Prichard at a catch weight of 147 pounds. Now, so we're going to go over this fight today. We're going to watch Prichard Colón versus Vivian Harris. We're not going to watch Prichard Colón versus Terrell Williams. And guys, let me just tell you one thing about Terrell Williams. Shout out to Terrell Williams. I know a lot of people are very upset with him, are very angry at him. However, you know, Prichard Colón's family, they don't want to focus on the negative. They just want to focus on the positive, right? And, you know, I have some friends in this game, and I heard that Terrell Williams is also crushed, you know? And I could only imagine, okay? This fight is a very, very tough sport, and there are many things that's happened in this sport, in that ring, that a lot of times we regret, even though this is the line of fire that we actually chose, all right, guys? So we're gonna watch Prichard Colón versus Vivian Harris, which took place on Spike TV, PBC, okay? And it was actually the undercard of the Donna Stevenson versus Tommy Carpenter fight. And it was an excellent fight, excellent performance, guys. If you've never seen Prichard Colón fight, this is the opportunity today, guys. So let's take it from the very beginning, from round one. Gabriel, we got it down over there? All right. So here we are, guys. Vivian Harris versus Prichard Colón. So remember, guys, they're here at 147 pounds. But remember, Prichard Colón was fighting at 154 pounds, okay? But they agreed to this weight class. This was a good fight for Prichard Colón. This is because, once again, Vivian Harris is a former WBA champion with a lot of good names on his resume. And let me tell you, Vivian Harris was a tough guy, heavy-handed, hit hard. So this was a real test for Prichard Colón here. Here you see Prichard, man, very tall. Wow.
Said that, you know, feels like I just won yesterday.
Yeah, you can see Prichard here, how tall he actually was, very lanky.
His opponent fed and only took about.
Here he is. He's already starting off. Beautiful jab already, man. This kid really did have some skills, man. Gabriel, man, congratulations on watching this fight today, man. I'm introducing Gabriel to Prichard Colón today. You know, we've been hearing a lot, unfortunately, about, you know, the things that he went through after his Terrell Williams fight, but let's remember him for the champion that he was, okay? So once again here, man, beautiful, man. Now, as you can see, Prichard was very good using his height. Very good at feinting. Beautiful jab. Nice footwork there. Vivian, you know, standing a little tall, man. You know, this is, you know, me personally, if I would have been working with Vivian in this fight, I think I would have tried to bring him down to fight a little bit shorter, because he is a shorter fighter here. And you can see Vivian had a few bad habits also, a lot of time leaving his chin exposed, You know, he led his technique a little bit with his left hand, a little bit low, but it was because he used to set guys up with his power too. But unfortunately here, I believe it's a mistake because look how tall, look how big Colón is. So he's going to be looking to go over that low left hand of Vivian Harris over here. There you go. Beautiful jab to the body. Yeah, there you go. He's keeping Vivian at bay there, you know. He's using that distance. Ooh, yeah. You could tell also Colón was very heavy-handed also. He has snap in his punches. Vivian is trying to counter there, waiting for him to come in, which I don't think it's a good idea. You know, I think Vivian should be applying a little bit more pressure, maybe going forward a little bit. Unfortunately, Vivian doesn't move his head too much. You know what I mean? You don't see a lot of this and this in Vivian's arsenal. There it is, that right hand again, man. That's because Vivian is shorter and he's keeping that left hand a little bit low there. And Prichard's there timing that. Yeah, oh my God, yeah. You know, Prichard has a lot of hand speed also. You could tell he has pop. There we go, another jab, good jab there. He's keeping him at bay there. He's keeping at the end of the jab. Oh, try to catch him through that left hook away. Okay, just relax. Relax there, Prichard. Okay, that was the first round. Of course, that was definitely Prichard Colón's round there, okay?
I can speak for that.
All right, guys, so now we're going into the second round here. Prichard Colón starts off with the jab again.
Harris, the middleweight weight draws, 37 years old.
Okay, there goes another jab by Prichard there. That was a little bit more of a lunge right there with a hook, trying to catch Vivian. Vivian is 30 though, you know, he's working his jab a little bit more over here. But once again, man, that chin is a little bit out there.
Talking about how he has to.
You got Prichard trying to go over that left, man. He's very tall, so it's not going to be so hard for him to go over, you know, with that overhand right of his.
To bring trust in the sport. Well, he's another coming undefeated young fighter.
Yeah, Vivian had a lot of great fights also himself.
Takes to the top, and he knows the difference between how a fighter's treated when they're at the top and when they're casting. There we go, host.
You know, Vivian was a top contender, a former WBA champion also himself, man. Right out, from out here in Brooklyn also, you know, I grew up with Vivian at Gleason's gym, man. Vivian used to take care of me, man, when I was out there. Very strong, tough. We had an incident one time at the gym where, you know, me and this guy got real into it, and his coach started talking smack to me and Vivian, man, and Vivian, that coach didn't know who Vivian really was, and Vivian asked him to put his kid in that ring, and let me tell you, Vivian did that kid dirty. But I wanted my licks too, and about a week later, I got my licks against that kid also myself over there at Gleason's, you know. But that's part of boxing, man. You're gonna have a lot of guys that like to talk trash, and Vivian was one of those guys that he held his own, man. You know what I mean? Ooh, left hook. Oh my God, that's how you put punches together. Victor, are you watching this over here? This is how you put punches together. You don't want to be on the ropes with a guy like Prichard Colón.
Yeah, it's fast.
Go, nice jab to the body. Right hand to the top. Okay, Vivian is pulling back a little bit. Looks a little bit lost in there, a little bit confused. But he's weary now because he knows he tested Prichard Colón's power. Oh, another jab by Colón. Another jab by Vivian. But Vivian is not really reaching in with that jab because he's a little bit hesitant because he knows that Prichard's very fast and is countering with every shot that he throws. I like the way Vivian feints, man. Look at that. He moves his head to the right, moves his head to the left, man. You know, that's what I teach my fighters, man. You know, when you're moving your head, you're not just moving your head for no reasons. You know what I mean? If you move to your head to the left, I'm looking to go to the body there, you know? If I look over here to the right, I'm trying to look for an opening. And Prichard's very good at using his feints in order to get close. Ooh, they both tagged each other there. Vivian got the best of that jab, though, there at the end. But that was still Prichard Colón's round. He was more active. Yep. We're going into the third round now, guys, all right? Oh, man, Vivian, I love you, man. And, guys, I'm going to be having Vivian over here, too, man. You know, I just spoke to him the other day. I'm excited, man. Can't wait till he comes down. He's back in North Carolina. There you go again, man. That's where Vivian doesn't want to be. See, Vivian is already in retreat. He's backing up. You don't want to be in the ropes against somebody like Colón. Another problem that Vivian is showing over here is that he's fighting tall. He's got to crouch a little bit lower over here. You know, he's going to have to use the short advantage that he has. A lot of fighters don't know how to use that sometimes, okay? Ooh, nice hook, but there it is, man. Colón is just very quick. And Vivian carries his hands low, so he got counters there. When he threw his hook, he got hooked.
Haircut, he reminds me of Bieber with a beard.
Right, man, listen, Colón is very active with that jab. He pity patches, he sets it up very nice. Beautiful, man. There it is, jab again. Okay. I would like to see Prichard go to the body a little bit more in this round. Start touching him a little bit more downstairs, Prichard. Let's see if you do that a little bit, because this is the third round. This is a good round for you to start going downstairs a little bit. He's doing a little bit of head hunting, so he's got to be careful.
Certainly will.
But Vivian is making a lot of mistakes, pulling his head back also. Yeah, Vivian, and again, you know, Vivian here, he's a little bit older. He has older legs over here also. So once you start getting older, you get a little bit smarter, you get a little bit wiser. However, that could also be a disadvantage against a young fighter, right? Because the young fighter has a lot of energy. And many of the times we tell the young fighter, if he's fighting a veteran fighter like Vivian, to apply that pressure, start off quick, right? You don't want to give Vivian Harris too much respect in there either. Reminds me of a fight many, many years ago. Jesse James Leja versus Panchito Bojado, right? Everybody thought Panchito Bojado was going to destroy Jesse James Leja. But I went into my room and I prayed for Jesse James. Jesse James came out that night and dominated Panchito Bojado. Prichard Colón back on the jab over here. Vivian is back on the ropes again. Not a good look for him. He's losing points. And Colón is actually finding a home with that overhand right. Oh, there it is. Caught him with that overhand right again. Vivian, again. There's that right hand again. Oh, the hook. See, this is a good time for Prichard to go to the body. I'm pretty sure if he would have gone to the body there, left it to the body, and then upstairs, he would have catch Vivian there. Come on, Vivian. Move your head a little bit, though, Papa. Come on. Come on, Vivian. You still my guy, boys. You know, I know how this fight ended, but I'm still rooting for you. Ooh, that's that jab. See, Vivian doesn't move his head, man. There's no side-to-side movements. Okay? He's waiting too much for Prichard, where Vivian, because he's the veteran at this point right now, this is the end of the third round. In the fourth round, I would tell Vivian to start applying pressure, try to move his head a little bit, you know, use a little bit more defense in this round, you know, but he's looking frustrated already the way he's coming out in this round, man. It's hard, man. When you start getting tagged like that, guys, you know, the plan that you have starts going away. And this is why it's important sometimes to stay active with the jab, okay? The jab helps you create openings. It helps you in the fight. Yeah. Prichard's definitely in control of this whole fight already from the very beginning, which is very good because he's doing that against a veteran fighter, a former champion, a former WBA champion, like I said. You know, Vivian Harris has been in there with some really, really great fighters, you know, like Stevie Johnson. I remember, man, I used to love it. Ooh, my God. And look how Vivian pulls his head back, doesn't even try to duck the punches. Oh, my God, another 1-2 by Prichard Colón. There it is. Prichard's just having fun with him right now. He's just teeing off him. There you go, Prichard. Go to the body a little bit more. There's it. There's home. He found that overhand right. He's connecting. Vivian, boom! Oh, and he necked my God down, son. But this is what I want you guys to see, man. You see, Gabriel, this is Prichard Colón, guys, man. This guy was going to be really, really good, man. He was definitely going to get some titles, man. I was very excited to see him fight some of the contenders of the type, and the fight is over. Vivian Harris got knocked out. Unfortunately, couldn't make the count. And, you know, unfortunately, guys, a few months later, you know, this is where Prichard Colón actually fought Terrell Williams. And if you look at this fight, guys, the reason Terrell Williams actually fought Prichard so dirty was because of this fight. Because they seen how good Prichard Colón was actually with his skills. Prichard was very heavy-handed. As you can see, he had good speed. As you can see, he also had great skills. He put punches together. He was still growing, of course. But I'm pretty sure that was the plan that they gave to Terrell Williams, right? Smother him, get dirty, and do a lot of the things that he was doing in there that he wasn't supposed to do. I try to be a fair coach sometimes. Now, don't get me wrong, man. You get dirty with my fighter, I'm gonna send my fighter to get dirty with you. But unfortunately, man, that fight really, the ref did a horrible job in that fight. And Terrell Williams, like I said, not trying to throw nothing at him also, but as fighters, man, we got to be careful sometimes. We got to be clean. But yeah, so as you can see, Prichard over here with the great Cuban trainer over here.
I'll get right back to the official announcement.
Yeah, man.
Victorious and very pleased.
So yeah, guys, man, this was a beautiful fight a beautiful performance by Prichard Colón.
You're live.
This fight was, like I said, it was taking place back in 2015. As you can see, the CompuBox final stats over here: 156 title punches thrown, 34% landed, 69 power punches.
Yo, man.
And he was only getting better, man. And I love the fact that he uses feints, head movements. He knows how to use it, how to control the fight. May you rest in peace, Prichard Colón.
Now with 13 knockouts to its credit, an impressive 1 out of 3.
And guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna end this segment over here out of respect with a 10 count, a 10 bell count in memory of Prichard Colón today, guys. All right. So let's bow our heads, put our heads down together, and let's show Prichard Colón some respect, and let's just remember him and pray for his family also. Rest in peace, Prichard Colón. God bless you and thank you for all these wonderful memories and these wonderful fights, my brother. May you rest in God's arms, and prayers up to your family, man, your friends, and everyone who supported you, everyone that loved you. Boxing's gonna miss you so much, Prichard, man. We love you. And don't forget, guys, man, keep your chin tucked in, guards held high, and protect yourself at all times. Peace.